Hello and welcome back to Fashion with Sort Out YouTube channel. How are we all doing? So in today's tutorial, we are going to be replicating this style, and of course in my previous tutorial I made a video on how to make this beautiful cold shoulder sleeve, and so today we are doing the gown. Now I have my fold already for the down part of the dress, so I have the back and I have the front placed on it, as you can see it. We'll then start imputing our basic skirt measurement on it. Waist we are working with is 28 inches divided by further 7 inches. I'm going to add 3 inches extra allowance to it, both for our darts allowance and then our swing allowance. Next thing is our hip. The hip circumference we are working with is 37 inches, and then I marked 6 inches downward from the waist and 9 inches, just like the way I mark it. The 6 inches will serve as our upper hip and the 9 inches will serve as our lower hip from the waist. So I impute that. Coming down to the hem of the skirt, and remember is the lining we are still cutting, not the main lace. So coming down to the hem of the skirt, the hip measurements we used was 34 divided by 4. That gave us 9.25. Then I added 2.5 sewing allowance to it. So at the hem part, what I marked out is 10.25. That is, I remove 1.5 from the hip measurements. I hope we understand. So right now I'm cutting everything out, and then sorry guys, so to the back part, I'm going to cut it into two so that we won't mistake the back for the front. Now we'll move to the upper part of the dress. So now I'm making use of satin lining, I hope we know, and then I have two fold. On fold I have 15 inches, so I'm cutting two lining for the front part. Same thing I will do to the back part of the upper dress. So now I'm doing that so that one, you remember, is lace we are sewing. Assuming it's Ankara, you only need one lining, but for this to conceal the net lace and then to line it, that's why I'm cutting two together. Do you understand? So now the back measurement we are working with is 9 inches. It's 14 inches divided by 2, that's 7. I added half inch to it for sewing allowance, and then I'm marking out my chest line, which is 8 inches length. So we'll proceed to our bust point, and that is 10 inches from our shoulder. So I'm going to mark out the 10 inches right now, and then the next line is our under bust length. The under bust length we are working with is 13.5. I'm going to mark out the 13.5, and then the last line is our half length, which is 15 inches. I'm marking out the 15 inches, so what we have left will serve as our sewing allowance. I'm going to extend this marking to the other edge of the fold so that we'll have a straight line, and then it will be easy for us to go about it. And then so on our shoulder line, I came down by half inch for our slant, and then I'm going to just find the midpoint to form our armhole. So now we are making use of princess dart bust here. So I'm going to make a curve to my armhole as you see me doing it. So after this has been done, next thing we are going to do is mark out our gap. The gap we're working with is 8 inches divided by 2, that's 4. I added half inch to it, rather. That gives us 4.5. So I marked 4.5 all down from the chest, the bust points to the half length. I hope you understand. So now coming to the under bust area of the dress, of the fold, you can see I'll mark out 1.5 on the right side, and then come inward and mark out 1.5 also. I'll then come to the half length and then mark 1 inch on each side of the markings. Do we understand? So after this has been done, all I have to do is connect the underbust markings with the half length, and then take my cuff roller and then connect it in a cuff manner to the bust points. Do we see the way I did it? So we are, like I said, that we are doing princess that bust here, and that's why it's like that. So I made the cuff in order to have our bust curve shape. Now to the half length, to the armhole rather, I'll come down by ½ inch and up by ½ inch, and then make a cuff connect from the chest point to the ½ inch that I marked out on the armhole. Do we get? So I'm just going to connect it in that manner. By the time we connect it, our bust shape, bust cuff will bring out the shape, and then we'll have a clear picture of what we are doing. Now take a look at it. Can you see how the bust is curved out already? Now to the down curve, I'm going to extend it in order for us to form a new armhole. By the time we cut the former the former curve we have, it will shorten the fabric, and that is why we do extension when it comes to bust here. Do we get? Now to our neckline, I'm going to be making use of 3.5 width by 4 inches depth. Do we get? 3.5 width by 4 inches depth is a round neck. I'm just going to make a round connect like that, and then our front is almost ready. I made the slant from the neck to the shoulder part, and then we are going to impute our body circumference. The bust we are working with, like I said, is 34 inches divided by 4. That gives us 8.5. So I'm going to mark out the 8.5. Then the extension we made at that shoulder, at the armhole, I'm going to add it to it. You know, we made an extension of 1.2. I added that to it, and then added 2.5 sewing allowance to it. Do we get? The same thing we have on our chest line is what we are going to have at the bust point. Coming down to the underbust length, the underbust we are working with is 28 inches. That gives us 7 inches, right? I'm going to add the 3 inches that we're going to cut out, that the bustier that we formed out. That's 3 inches, half, 1.5 on each side. We are going to cut it out, so we must not forget to add it to our markings. So that's 7 plus 3, that's 10. Then I added 2.5 extra sewing allowance. Same thing I will do to my half length. This time around is 2 inches you get. So 28 inches is our half waist measurement also. So I added 2 inches to the 7 inches, and then the extra sewing allowance. I'm then going to cut it out so that we can have the sides and the center. I hope you understand. Right now we have everything cut out with our neck, and so we have the center, front, and the side. Moving to the back, I have the fold already, as you can see. So I'm just going to do all the basic markings, and then I will do the cutouts. I am sure you understand how to cut normal princess that already, so I'm just going to do that without wasting our time. Now for the back neckline, we are making use of V-neck, and so remember that we use 3.5 as our neck width for the front. The same thing we are going to use for the back, but this time around we're adding our zipper allowance of 1.5 inches to it. So plus 3.5, that's 5. So that's what I just marked out. And then for the depth, we'll be making use of 8 inches. I don't want it too deep, and so that's why we'll be making use of 8 inches. So I'm going to mark it, and then first of all mark out the 1.5 inch. Do we get the 1.5 zipper allowance? I've marked it out, and then I'll make a connect to the edge of the 1.5, not to the folded part. Do we get? Do you see how it is? So that will give us a perfect V. Do we get? So by the time we'll mark it to the edge of the fold, it will give us a U shape, not V. And so this is how it is. And then I cut out the shoulder slant and then the remaining parts of our markings. Do we get? I hope I'm not confused in any way. So guys, right now I've used the lining to cut all the lace material, and all the parts. Do we get? So now I have gone ahead to join the front parts. You know, it's a bustier and I added wording, as you can see. I have joined the front part, and then another thing that I did is, because of the cold shoulder we are using as a sleeve, I want to show you something I did to the dress. Now you can see the armhole parts. Okay, so I have connected the neck and then the armhole part. So I made sure that I have sewn it so that it will give us a neat finishing outside. So right now for this dress we are making use of turn up to sew it. Do we get? So I have done the armhole side of everywhere, and then we did this basically because of the cold shoulder sleeves we are using as our sleeves. Do we get? So what I will do next is open it to the front, and then before I connect the skirts to it, we are going to open it to the front everywhere, every side. I mean the front and the back. We'll open it to the front. We'll open it rather to the right part, and then after that has been done, then I want you to understand what I'm doing. So for us to have a connect of the shoulder, we'll place it on each other, as you can see me doing it. Do we get? We'll place it this way so that we won't mistaking any for the other, and then you dip your hand inside it just like I did, and then you will make sure that the front side, the lace part, face the lace part, and then you will tuck in it that way. Do you see it? After you've tucked it in, you must ensure that the lace part is still facing this lace part and the lining part is facing the lining part before you join. So by the time you join this, it will give you a fine and a very neat finishing. Do we get? So that's like a turn up in sewing. So after this has been done, I'll come back to show you how the effect it will give and how neat we have it at the end. So guys, this is it. We have the front joined to the back, the two sides. Can you see how it is? And looking down to the shoulder, the armhole part. So you see we have it sewn it. I've gone ahead to join the down part also. As you can see it, I've joined the front and the back together. You can see how it is. I also piped the joining. You can see how it is. Well, the next thing I'll do now is fix my zipper and also join the bodies, and that will be the end of this tutorial. Guys, this is the final look of the dress. Can you see how beautiful it is? You see the bust, the back, and everywhere. Thank you guys for staying true to the end of this video. Can you see the finishing touch? I have done a tutorial on how to fix the cold shoulder balloon sleeve. You can go and watch it. Thank you for staying true to the end of this video. If you got value watching this, don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up, and then I'll be expecting to see you in my next tutorial. Thank you guys for staying true as always. See you in my next tutorial. Bye bye guys. Go and watch how to fix the sleeve also. Bye.